Welcome to the Get Into Shape podcast. I'm your host, Jimmy Ryan. Today we have Don and Gino. Say what's up, guys.
Hey,
what's up?
So Don and Gino are the Western regional managers for PRMG, and they also are the leaders of, I don't know how you describe it. Like, are you owners of a Momentum Builder?
Founders, owners, cheap bottle washers, whatever.
The people that put on Momentum Builder, and we're going to talk a little bit about Momentum Builder 2024. But first, just to welcome you guys, what's up? Say hello.
Yeah,
Hey.
So I'm excited to be here, Jimmy. We haven't been on in about a year, so thank you for having us again. This year, Momentum Builder, we spent so much time on making it special and different. So I'm excited to talk about that in a little bit because, we, like everybody else, grew up going to see Todd Duncan and Stephen Marshall, and those were the two events to go to every year. And Don and I had a vision 7 years ago that we could do something different and better or equally be in that space, and we're here today.
Dude, that's awesome. So look, I want to get right into it. I want to talk about TED Talks. I think that's the coolest thing, but I think to frame it up, how is this year different than last year? Like, I guess this is what I would say is like, look, I went to Momentum Builder last year. I don't know if I want to go again. So like, to the person that's kind of in that mode, how is Momentum Builder 2024 different than Momentum Builder 2023?
I give you two good reasons, really good reasons, because we thought about that, Jimmy, because we are in the trenches like everybody. We literally we have teams, we know what the challenges are. We know the industry. So we're in the trenches and knowing what people need. We know what our team needs. Plus we have the community and weekly calls and the think tank to help us know what people need and what's best. So this year we knew it needed to be a little different than past years. A lot of past years, had a lot of rah-rah, had certain individuals in there that helped make people feel really good, gave good strategies. Last year, it was game-changing for quite a few individuals. We got great testimonials where it changed their lives. It's like, I got so much out of it, let alone the networking. But this year, we knew that with the challenges we've had for going on almost 2 years now in our industry, that nobody wants fluff right now. Nobody wants that too much rah-rah. Right now, they need tactics. They need strategies. They need ways that are working in today's market. Very key. What's working today? Not what kicked ass in 20 and 21 when refis were good, or 2007 when everybody, was doing well. It's what's working today. So we were very strategic in gathering, and a lot of the names do look familiar, but these are the individuals that are making it happen, whether it's through their coaching or through their product or through their leadership or as a producer. So what we did is we gathered people that are making it happen in today's market, and they only get 20 minutes, no fluff, 20 minutes to get to the point, like you said. They get 20 minutes to go, here's my 5 bullet points. Here's my 3 things that I'm doing today that's working today to get me to 80 million or 100 million or 60 million or whatever the number is. Or the coaches are coming on saying, here's what's working for the people that I'm coaching. Here's what we're focusing on. So it's going to be very specific to that. And then, like I said, the TED Talk, 20 minutes, no fluff, get to the point. And then live Q&A so that everyone understands what they talked about, and 2, how to implement it. The problem is when people go up there and talk at you and walk, you're like, it sounded good.
So it's 20 minutes speech and then 20 minutes live Q&A right afterwards.
15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah. And the Q&A, I mean, we're going to go with it and roll with it as long as we stay on schedule. Ultimately, we do still have to respect the clock, but we want to make sure that people get their questions answered. I mean, the interactive nature that automatically, just organically appeared last year is kind of where we got this idea. Is people were like, man, I really love that lunch with Todd Duncan. And that was super interactive. And we were like, okay, we need more of that. So we take every piece of feedback to heart, and this event and evolves based on the community's feedback. And so what we did is we took the feedback from last year's event and the surveys that everybody filled out, and we used those pieces of feedback to make sure that we made it better. And that's just the reality. Is we don't have all the ideas, but with the think tank and the feedback from last year, we know that we're giving everybody what they want.
Bro, I think it's a total win doing TED Talk style interviews. No fluff. I think you're right. Like, you have to cram it into 20 minutes. You're not going to have, you have no time for fluff. And I remember going to the events that you mentioned, like Stephen Marshall's event. You'd come back with pages and pages of notes and ideas, but I mean, you can't possibly implement everything. And I think if you're going to get some new ideas, you're definitely going to get them, but you're only going to get the best ideas. So I think that it kind of almost helps you, pare your ideas down to what are the best things, what's actually going to move the needle, what are people that are crushing it right now doing, and how can I just copy? How can I do it how they're doing?
They're very simplified ideas. When I talk to these speakers, they're like, here's the things I'm doing. And they're realistically things that you and I can do. They're not like,
right.
Oh, well, that's great. He has a team of 200. Of course, he's freaking killing it. You got a Sean Herrera's like, I got an assistant. I did 80 million. Let me tell you how. Okay. I'm taking notes, and everybody gets workbooks so they can take notes in their workbooks. It's going to be workshop style, but we also slowed it down. We almost had too many speakers because we understand you can only absorb so much. It was like a fire hose of information. So we actually slowed it down, a few less speakers and a lot more engagement and a lot more networking. People are there to network and have fun. God knows we need some fun right now. I mean, we've been beat up for the last 18 months plus. So we're going to have some great networking events. So I don't know why anybody wouldn't just go for just the feel good, but the timing's perfect because we all feel that 2024 is going to be better. Everybody I talk to, yes, I feel it's better. Well, then what are you doing? Are you going to prepare for it or are you going to wait till it's too late? If you go to the momentum, you will be prepared when the flood hits, as Sean Herrera talks about. When it hits, you'll be prepared. You'll have the ideas of how to capitalize on it.
So to stay on like strategy, and then kind of we'll move on to this is going to be a lot of fun and the networking piece to it. What would you add, Gino, about just like what you're going to learn from a strategy standpoint? Somebody that's going there to try and find a new way to do things, a new idea, something to implement.
This is up Gino's alley right here.
That's what's easy for me because I'm one of those people that when I went to these events, I was like 3 speakers and I'm out.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. That's just how my brain works. And Don laughs at me. He's like, "Oh, you're all ADD." I'm like, "My whole generation's ADD, Don." Like, with it. So we've been programmed to only respond now to Instagram in 2.7-second increments. 20 minutes is an eternity. But I could handle 20 minutes when I couldn't handle an hour. So that's number one. The other thing that I think is super critical for someone like me, and I just keep talking about myself because I know how I receive information, is that I learned this a long time ago from Merced Cohen, one of my first managers. I used to get so frustrated as a branch manager when I would send out emails to my team about things to do. And then they would say, "Gosh, I wish we would have known about that." And I say, "I've sent out like 20 emails on this. How have you not read that?" Because it doesn't have to be a new idea, Jimmy. It has to be the right idea for you at the right time. And so you never know what idea is going to impact you differently this time, even though you've heard that idea before. I mean, we just spent 4 days with Todd Duncan at High Trust Sales Academy, and there was a ton of ideas that I had heard before, but I was in the right place to implement them today. Just like I couldn't time block 10 years ago. Now I'm well time blocked. I couldn't achieve some of those things. I used to work weekends. I decided I never was going to work weekends. It took me time to implement that, but I was able to pull
now.
Now we are for Momentum Builder. But in general, I want people to be exposed to an idea that impacts them where they're at today. Doesn't matter if it's new or old. It's where you're at today, and can you make it happen in 24? Because like Don said, one of the sad things that's going to happen is that there's already a little increase in activity. And people are going to get excited about the increase in activity, but not one of us gets paid on activity. Right. We had plenty of activity last year. It didn't lead to closings. So the only thing that matters this year is how to transcend from activity and lead generation to conversion and close loans.
And yeah, I guess just to capitalize on it, we're all the people that produce. I mean, like, I think didn't they all like increase in production? I feel like it's some weird numbers that these producers have. And I mean, who better to learn from than someone that can crush it and dominate in a down market and, still be doing it. So, okay. On to the party piece to it. So like, look, I love the networking piece to this. I love all of the people that are going. I mean, I've had so many great connections, me personally, at just talking about Momentum Builder tons of people that I've interviewed on my show. Like Momentum Builder has been good to me just from a networking standpoint. So how do you convey that to somebody that's never been to this? And I guess, like, what is someone going to expect from someone just, hey, look, I don't know a lot of people, you know, in the industry, you know, maybe I'm coming there and I want to meet some people. What should someone expect if they're maybe going for the networking piece?
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you one thing, and then Don, you can continue. What we hear as regional managers right now from a lot of the people that we're talking to and asking them to join us is that they feel alone, right? Because a lot of people, they either moved to broker or they moved to small shops, or big shops became small shops, or they lost their immediate management team, or they lost their middle managers. It's been 2 years of losing things. And so we need to rebuild that, right? We need to rebuild that foundation. And you do that by being together with winners. And winners are going to be at this event. So surround yourself with winners and you'll feel good. You'll feel better. You'll motivate yourself daily so that you can keep going, because now you're part of this community where people are winning and people are having a good time and people are all rowing in the same direction.
There you go. You just nailed it. The community. This is what we're creating. And Jimmy, you're a big part of our community, and we get more and more, and we're very blessed. The best part of Momentum Builder is we're now tied in with the best of the best. I mean, we're talking the best coaches, the best influencers, the best producers. You look at and it keeps adding. We just had 2 more speakers. We have the best of the best showing up there to give back to our industry. And it's this community that's all going to kick the crap out of the competition. Sorry for, lack of a better, that's a technical term, because it's our community. Can you imagine trying to compete with our community that's all helping each other to get better, to be motivated, right, to have new ideas, to share platforms, to share coaching and inspiration? It's going to be tough to compete with our community. And those who are going to go there are going to get a jump start, a huge jump start heading into 2024. It's before your earnings season. People forget our earnings season isn't now. January, February, tough. But we know spring hits and our earnings season's April through September. So what better time than to be at this event and be charged and ready to take advantage when it does hit. That's where the name Momentum Builder started, was let's get your momentum going as you head into you could still have your best year ever starting in March and April. Plain and simple.
100%. And like, look, I mean, it's said a lot, it's cliche, but like your network is your net worth. You're one handshake away from changing your life. I truly just believe that this is the type of an event where, your life could be changed based on someone that you shake hands with. So, okay, how about the party? So the speakers dinner is super cool. On the record, I guess, like, here, if you guys were going to,
we start off with a party, Jimmy. I mean, we have opening night. We have the gun show. The coolest thing is when you see all these great speakers, and I'd say 75% will be on that stage, taking pictures, flexing, and then we all go to a networking party right afterwards, and it's 2 hours of getting to hang out with your community members and feel good and get pumped up and get ready for the next 2 days of kicking some major butt. And then we have networking breakfast every morning because we want people to get together, hang out with their friends, meet people. So we're having a hot breakfast to make sure everybody's charged and ready to go. And then we close out the event. Instead of doing a half day, like a lot of events do, where everybody gets dispersed and leaving early or leaving in the middle of great speakers and they hate missing, but they're like, oh, I got to get home. Well, we end on a Thursday so that you can still leave on a Friday and get home to your kids' baseball games or basketball games or whatever it is, or start your weekend in Vegas on Friday, one of the two. So it's very well strategically set up so that we can celebrate Thursday night when you're all done. You don't have to worry about the next morning going, oh, shoot, I got to get back to you're done. And you're celebrating with everybody.
Worry a little bit about the hangover.
Yeah. Yeah. Friday will be a little slow. I'll guarantee, because we'll be partying with you, Jimmy, and the rest of the crew, celebrating 2 amazing days.
And have you had a chance to take a look at that, Jimmy? I mean, it's got karaoke bars, it's got a double-decker bus, it's got all these different rooms with speakeasies and different stuff going on.
DJ half a Cadillac.
I've seen all the pictures. I think that it's going to be epic. And like, look, it's kind of kind of like a joke, but I've gotten to know you guys pretty well. Everybody knows that there's a party following Don and Gino, you know, and like you guys are where the party's at. And anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's super cool. Anything else that you want to say about Momentum Builder that's maybe unique or maybe something that you want to let the world know?
Yeah. Gino, what about our special?
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to remind everybody that, like Don said earlier, we're in the trenches. We know what the mortgage world is like right now. We're personally affected by it as much as anybody else is. So we know that finances are, I'm not going to say a problem, but definitely a challenge, something that we're all trying to overcome. So just this week, Don and I made a decision, because we want as many of our community members there as possible, that we launched a quick blitz where we're including the hotel room with the ticket price. And we're doing an all-inclusive package minus resort fees. That's my disclaimer. For $1,000. And we were able to also this year partner with Klarna, and we're able to divide that up in 4 payments of $250. So now I want you to look at the mindset of, it's not costing me $1,000 or $3,000 or $10,000 to be there. It's $1,000 plus flights, and don't gamble. But aside from that, the ticket to entry, the barrier to entry is smaller than it's ever been at 4 payments of $250.
I mean, wow, that's super cool. So, I mean, if you're struggling with affordability, that's certainly I mean, that's a huge thing. Any last
no
words,
better
Don?
time than now to invest in yourself. Literally, we all need it. We all need this reboot. See?
Yep.
Reboot. That's a theme, because everybody knows they need to change. What worked in the past isn't working today. And there are some people that have changed, and that's what we're going to share with you. Here's the people that already rebooted their business and they're successful, and they're going to share it with you. It's amazing the giving nature of our industry. Thank goodness. It's the best industry in the world, because our leaders, our top producers love sharing what makes them successful. I know I didn't mind going up on stage as many times I've gone up and shared, and people go, why would you share that? Hey, if I can affect somebody's life, awesome. But I know only, like, unfortunately, 4 or 5 people do something with it. Right. Now we're hoping with our community and staying in tune with our community all year long through our weekly coaching calls, all the discounts we get for our members. We're already giving away free stuff. People are getting free opportunities and discounts just being part of the event. I mean, there's no way you're not going to get your value back. And we even have a 100% guarantee. If you go to the event and don't feel you got something out of it, we'll refund your money. We're that confident. We're very confident that you're going to leave going, that was one of the best decisions I ever did. I'm glad I invested in myself.
Yeah. Last year we gave the money back guarantee as well. Not one person claimed it.
Yeah.
That's why it's easy. By the way, that's why it's easy. People say, why would you do 100% guarantee? Someone's going to take advantage of it. If you go and you sit there and you actually are a participant in this industry, there's no chance that you don't think you got your money's worth.
100%. Can't endorse it enough. So I've negotiated a discount code with Don and Gino. It's Jimi 231. And
no, you got Jimi 300 now, buddy.
And now it's up to 300, so it has to be the biggest discount code if it's going to be the Jimi.
You said you wanted the biggest discount code.
I got to get the biggest discount code. I mean, come on, that's what we got to do. So anyway, that's Jimi 231. Put that in, and it will get you $300 off. And yeah, I can't encourage you to go enough. Say hi to me if you're there. And now I want to move on to Shape. So Shape, this is the Get Into Shape podcast, and we actually just recently rebranded it from Shape Shift to Get Into Shape. We're wearing headbands. We're pretty physically fit, you know, so we're getting into shape. So as you are getting into shape, Don, because like Don and Gina, you guys have seen it in a general sense, but Don, you've spent the most time in it. What struck you as something that's cool? Because like, look, bro, not everybody knows about shape. I'm trying to change that, but it's a process and it takes time. You saw it for the first time. What jumped out to you?
All right. So this is pretty easy for Gene and I, because we're always part of beta testing everything. That's what we do. And we do it for PRMG, and we also do it for Momentum Builder, of course. We want to know what's available, what's out there, and we dig in, and we won't endorse anyone unless we know the product and use the product. And that's why we wanted to see Shape. You're our buddy. But I'm like, sorry, dude, I still need to see the product. And we spent 2.5 hours probably digging in deep. And you guys are great, by the way. Danny rocks. She did a really good job of demoing the product for us. And we got to see it in depth. The main thing I can say, and Gina and I look for this, because when we just stopped producing just a little while ago. We're still in the trenches, so we know what's going on. But all we wanted was a system that we can live in. Like we would literally open and utilize. The problem with a lot of the CRM systems, and I don't even have to say their names, but they're almost too much. It's a great marketing tool. But right now, what we really need, and Gina, I know, can't wait to jump in on this piece of it, is a lead management system. And what I saw was the most simple, easy, and user-friendly platform that you can just live in. It was really easy to change and work in that system without having to go in and out or go grab an email, it was all there. Everything's there. All your campaigns there that you can adjust, you can customize. It was something that I would be excited to be in, because my goal would be to move them from one category to the next category to closed, basically, right, and not lose these opportunities. And if I opened up like Claudia, imagine her, she's going to open up and go, I have 100 opportunities or more. That's exciting. That's something to wake up to every day. And I love that you can utilize the system to do true lead management, which I think is one of the most important things of any CRM right now.
Yeah, so let me touch on that. A couple things. One is I love it that it's the Get in Shape podcast. And I have a surprise for you when you get to Momentum Builder, because I'm wearing a nice sweater today, but I'll be 50 pounds lighter than I was at last Momentum Builder by the time I get there.
Katie spilled the beans to me about that.
Oh, she cheated already? I'm wearing a sweater, so you can't tell.
She told me you guys both lost a ton of weight. So, I mean, congratulations on that. That's huge.
Let me tell you why. And it's because the same thing that happens to all of us, it's just human nature, is that when times are good, we become complacent. And during COVID, there was a lot of stress. Number one, let's identify that. There was stress, there was loss, there was all kinds of things that we had never dealt with before. But aside from that, from a business standpoint, we became complacent because we no longer had to hunt. We became customer service representatives. All we had to do was answer the phone and put them in the pipeline, answer the phone and put them in the pipeline. So now what happened, as we went through the year is I said, okay, in order to be feeling like I felt when we created the success that we had, I need to be in top physical, mental, and business shape, right? That's the reality. Unless all of it comes together, it's hard to win. And right now, with it being as competitive as it is for every one deal, I say this, Don doesn't love that I say this, but the truth of the matter is, if you lost a deal, someone was better than you. Period. End of story. They were either better at follow-up, they made a better impression, they were a better advisor, they had a better presentation tool, they had something that made the consumer go with them. And I don't want to hear rate, because that's not why people choose people. People are about relationships. The new generations are still about relationships. Rate is one factor, but the experience wasn't good enough. So ultimately, what I believe is, in order to be in peak mental, physical, and business shape, you have to train. And that's why we're doing Momentum Builders, so that people can be there and train and be at peak physique.
So 100% on the lead management piece. I mean, Don, you said simple, easy, user-friendly. I think all of these things are what everybody wants their CRM to be, but it's just not. At the end of the day, you log in, you're like, okay, where do I go? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I think you're right, Gino, it all has to come together and be easy to use. And I think that I'm so pumped about Claudia using it, because you mentioned to me before we started recording that she got like, whatever, it was like 80 leads and then 40 leads the next day. So like, okay, you walk in on a Monday, you have 120 opportunities. How do you sort which one's best? And then the next thing is that when you call them again after today, what's your call strategy? And if you're working off of a spreadsheet, if you're working off of a system where you have to refresh the screen every single time, you have to copy and paste numbers, you have to manually send texts and emails, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get it all done by the end of the day. And the person that has a well thought out, well thought through lead management strategy and is operated in shape, I mean, this is a shameless plug for Shape, of course, but they're going to run circles around the person that's running it off of a system that's difficult to use. Or, my God, I hope you're not working off of a spreadsheet, but
right.
Well,
and I love that once you set up your email templates, your voicemails, your text, and all that, it's all there. You can just start grabbing it and not have to regurgitate the same thing over and over and over. You can literally go, here's my templates. I'm already, depending on this particular category, it's all set up. So you will use it. You won't have to I don't have time to freaking, type this email, whatever. You just drop it in and go. It was super simple.
Dude, and out of the box, it's literally got everything that you need based on billions of lead records. Danny, I think that she shared this with you, but we have 100,000 users that use the system. We're the number one lender in the country because of all the loans that have closed through our system. But based on billions of lead records, that's what the system is based on, what works right out of the box. So anyway, I try, even though this is a Shape podcast, I try not to just be like a straight up 100% pitch to Shape.
Well, we need more people to know about it, dude. I mean, this is a great option for our industry, and it's needed now more than ever.
Yeah. So how do you hybridize yourself? That's the reality, right? The traditional advisor is now being challenged by servicers, being challenged by internet lenders, being challenged by call centers, being challenged by all those people. So you have to also become a better nurturer because people are not ready, willing, and able at the right time. And so, like you said, Claudia has 120 new leads. Are 120 of those going to go into escrow in the first 60 days? Absolutely not. So the more time she stays in touch with them, the more mediums she stays in touch with them, and the guarantee that it happens every single time is what makes the difference in conversion. And you can't do it by yourself. You have to use technology today if you're going to do that.
Bro, and here's just another stat is that it takes based on all of the verticals that Shape is in, insurance, solar, real estate, recruiting, mortgage, it takes 17 omni-channel attempts to reach out to a customer to convert them into a closing. 17. So a lot of people give up. I think the industry average for everybody that buys leads or get leads, I think it's 1.5 contact attempts across everything. So 17. So how are you going to do that? Are you going to do it by sending an email each one of the 17 times, sending a text, leaving a voicemail, making a call? Or are you going to just trust a computer to freaking do it so that you can be doing what you were put on this earth to do, which is sell, not push buttons and leave voicemails and send emails? My passion.
I don't know if there's anything more to talk about. I think
right. Mic drop.
All right, cool. Well, I guess in wrapping this up, I think we're at about 30 minutes. This has been a great show. I want to just encourage all of our listeners, hey, check out Momentum Builder. It's a absolutely awesome event. It's a game changer. If you've never been there before, man, you're gonna come back life changed. If you've been there before, man, this is going to be a whole different thing. It's going to be super cool. Make sure you say hi when you're there. And signing off, Don and Gino, say goodbye to our wonderful listeners.
We'll see you. Glad to be part of this. Stay in shape.
All right, get into shape.